for folks like us. Wrong city, wrong people.
Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. ASAP Grim here, and this is the continuation of my playthrough of Bannerlord 1.4. And I think we're going to wrap the series up on this episode. We're at peace. We need to break this army up. Let me do that first. My clan army. Well, we have two armies. Are we really at peace? Am I reading that correctly? Non-aggression, alliances, non-aggression pacts. Okay, so we don't have any alliances. It says no. Oh, that's right. We went to war against Sturgia. So we should see them in red. Oh, yeah, they are in red. Okay, well, never mind. Never mind. We have fighting that we're doing. Okay, let me come over here and find out what this army is doing, and we'll try to support them. That's right, we took over Revel. I'm glad I didn't break the army up. Let's see where they go next. How am I doing on food? Anyway, this is likely to be the last game for this series. We've got Bannerlord 1.5 coming. It's in early access right now. So they're working the kinks out through beta. I'm not really sure when it's supposed to come out. I'm kind of under the impression a little bit closer, like maybe around Halloween, a little bit closer to Thanksgiving. Somewhere in that time frame, October, November. But guys, I'm like really thin on that. It just seems like I heard that in a video or something as I was falling asleep, so I don't know. But maybe we'll be taking a look at that. Let's go get this guy whenever it comes out. Also, for the channel as a whole, if you've noticed that I've missed some days, that is happening on accident. I don't really have a good explanation. But I can tell you I've been a little bit busy these past few weeks as I've gotten reintegrated into the VA medical system, and so after having not gone for a long time, and so I've had a whole battery of appointments, and I'm kind of in the middle of that. So that's, I think, maybe contributing some to preventing me from having the time I normally do to record. Let's go ahead and attack. And then along with that, you know, like, I don't really want to put, at this point in time, I do reserve the right to change my mind. I don't really want to put Subnautica 2 on my channel because I am just flat as against transgenderism as you can get. I'm not against people making their own decisions as adults, and I'm not even necessarily against treatment for people who are legitimately suffering from gender dysphoria. I just think that the vast, overwhelming majority, I'm talking 85% plus, of people that are being diagnosed with transgenderism are not transgender. There's other stuff going on, and they are not receiving the treatment that they need. And an entire cottage industry, in both the medical field as well as other fields that can latch on to coat strings, like any social media empathy or anything like that. There's a whole cottage industry of people that have latched on to make themselves money, and I find that to be just utterly disgusting, and I can't support any of that.
Footmen! Onward! Scout onward!
And Unknown Worlds,
Soldier to me!
although I believe, you know, being in a position that I have to guess, my guess, based off of very incomplete information, is that Unknown Worlds is genuinely trying to be kind. I think they're liberals. I think this is a core ethos for them. We call it suicidal empathy because it's kind of a blind kindness with no qualifiers, right? It's just be nice to the whole world. well, you're retarded. I'm sorry to put it that bluntly, but you are. You're stupid. That's not how the world works. And so, I don't think that my point being, I don't think they're maliciously doing anything. And what they have done is exceptionally light. It is. It's very light-handed. It's in the background information. But it's in a video game, which is overwhelmingly appealing to kids. A major part of your market's going to be kids. It just is.
Hear me! Engage the enemy!
And, so I won't put it on my channel. Now that's a long way of saying, however, comma, I've been playing the hell out of it on my own time, because I already own the game. You know, if I could take it back, I wouldn't have bought the game. But I hated what happened to them with Craft On, and I was really wanted to support them because of that. And then later I saw the transgender stuff, and you know, I wouldn't have done that. I would not have supported them, even though I think they were wronged by Craft On. But this weighs heavier for me. But since I did, and I do like the gameplay, and I've been upfront about this, I like it a lot. Then I've been playing the game, and it's a great game for me to listen to news in the background and just go build a base, you know. So it works really well actually as a game that I don't record, that I'm not having to do narration on and stuff like that. That I just play quietly as I listen to other things in the background and, you know, chill. It's been absolutely fantastic for that. But that's another thing. You know, I'm trying to paint the picture here of what all's been taking up my time. That's been taking up my time. World of Warcraft is now entering into Phase 3. I've got to get my character ready. I only have one main, so it's not as bad as it's been in years past where I've had an alt that I was also trying to gear. I've just got the one character, really, that I play. But still, there's things I need to do, and I need to prepare for fights and do some study. And so the upshot being that the activity on this channel could be sporadic over the next few weeks until things just kind of level out for me. I don't really have a go-to game for myself right now to do recording in. Darktide is really just meant to be temporary. Like a mini series, you know. I want to make sure everybody's got a banner here. And let's see. I think everybody does have one. Okay. And so I don't have a go-to right now that I really want to do a series in, which is a little unusual for me. Normally I do. Especially if I stop a series, like I'm doing with Bannerlord. Usually I'm stopping a series because I've got something else I want to get into. In this case, I'm stopping the series because I feel like we've gone far enough and we got 1.5 coming out, and I probably need to take a little bit of a break from Bannerlord so that I can be kind of hungry for that whenever it happens. What are we going to do here? Opposing gender? No, as a dude, I think we, whatever it is, you want to get better relation with guys. I think that they tend to be in the leadership positions more often. You know what? I'm probably dead wrong on that. I'm probably dead ass wrong. This game seems to be pretty evenly split. It doesn't care who's in charge. I think I'm just naturally, like my lizard brain is, thinking back to medieval times. I'm going to go with it anyway, just because it feels like the right thing to do. Negative 30% influence cost when voting for kingdom proposals made by others. Yeah, probably that. Oh, well. Yeah. Yeah, this one, because this will keep going. This here, there's like a handful of policies that I would initiate, and then I'm done. So we're going to go with that. On leadership, +5 battle morale. I like this one. Oh, well, that would be pretty nice, too. I think we're fine on morale. I'll go with make a difference. And then over here... I don't know if we're getting wounded very much anymore. We're all pretty armored up. Yeah, this would probably be better. Yeah, we'll take this one. Because we're getting into some higher numbers now. Alright, let's see what else we can do. So, what else is happening here? Oh gosh, guys, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not. This is like barely entering into my conscience. And let me give you a heads up. This is kinda, I don't know, how should I put this? It's, you know, we're playing Warhammer, right? Warhammer 40K. One of the
It's been a while.
darkest fantasy lands known to humanity, I guess. You know, in the grim dark future. Look, it's Grand Prince Samir. So I think what I'm about to tell you is kinda gay. It's kinda gay. we'll phrase it that way, and I think you'll understand what I'm saying whenever I say that I am dabbling around with the idea of purchasing the game Enzoi. For those who don't know, Enzoi is a Unreal Engine 5 version or competitor that is in early development, ironically enough by Krafton, who I just got done shitting on, right? Sorry, I don't normally curse. But I felt like it was appropriate in this case. That is a direct competitor with Sims 4. It's a life simulator game. Yeah. Flip-flopping from Warhammer 40K to Enzoi. What? I question this myself. Don't worry. I kind of wonder, is this really what I want to do? I'm just telling you, like, there's not really anything on the horizon right now that is catching my interest, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my channel at the moment. And that's the only thing that I'm kind of, like, curious about. And I've watched some videos, and people are saying, man, for an early access game, you get an awful lot for the price point. And,
Hear me! Scheme formation!
that it's
Scheme
developing
formation!
quite rapidly. That, like, every day they add new developments, so... yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I need to do some more research before I go drop $40 on this, because that's what the cost is. No. I messed up. I hit the wrong one. Here we go. Group 2. You're going to spread out a lot, evidently. That's really spread out. There we go. That's good enough. Alright, like that. So, you know, maybe I do that, or maybe I dabble with Sims 4 itself. I don't know. It's not even on my computer right now. So, I think you guys are getting the idea, though. Things are going to be pretty sporadic on the channel until something catches my fancy, I think. And I'm kind of casting around and... you know, I've got Space Marine 2, and I've not really played it very far, but I don't really feel like it. That game is, everybody tells me it's awesome, but I feel like I'm bad at it. Like, I don't get the I don't do the controls very well, so that's an outside shot there, I guess. But I'm a little bit kind of like, I don't want to do more 40k. I like Darktide, and we're going to keep doing that for a little bit, I think. But we're probably reaching the end of that one also. So, I don't know. There you go. I mean, I'm giving you a whole bunch of different ways of saying I don't really know what I'm going to do next. Alright, let's go back to Eagle's Eye view. Where are you guys going? Okay, I have you. You can actually probably stop. I wonder what they're doing with this group right here. What's that about? You know what? I think I'm going to pull you guys up to right here. Yeah, they're firing. We're going to go into shield wall. Do we have arrows landing over here? Yeah. Okay, so we're in range. Well.
Hear me! Follow me! Soldiers! Cut them down!
Oh, I think I got a guy out there that doesn't have a horse. I need to know his name. Am I able to see him? Oh, sorry, bro. Not really. One of my companions does not have a horse. Look, these guys got cut down, man. Look at the pincushion on this guy. Look at this. That's why I'm not really too nervous about leaving my Norse Sky Gods Chosen on their own. And with the RBM balance, I believe they retain their shield. No, they don't. No, they get a second thing of, a second quiver of arrows. Yeah.
Soldier! Engage! Warrior! Leave the warrior! At them!
My cavalry is pretty much doing everything. I left my frontline troops back there in shield wall. Oh man, right at the ankles. I gotcha. I gotcha. Alright. We're done on the battlefield. See, we only had one wounded. That's why I didn't take that one perk. Carry the bodies. Alright. we are going to make our way back over here to this new town that we own. And we're going to sell our prisoners. Accept. Yeah, so I just started watching videos last night on Enzoi, and I need to do... Oh, the next ruler of the Nord. I need to look at a lot more. What about us? Oh, holy smokes, we could do it. Okay, it was very close. So we can actually rise up as a vassal and eventually become the king of a kingdom. I kind of like that. But the upshot being, I need to watch more videos on Enzoi before I decide whether or not I want to do it. It's really just kind of at the very fringes of my mind. But I am curious. I am interested. And the videos I looked up did look like it was like, I kind of want to play that kind of game right now. That looks like it's kind of, I don't know, what's the word that the kids are using these days? It's like, it's comfy. You know, just cozy. Is that what they say? Cozy, I think. They use both. And this feels like we're getting into the time of the year when I kind of like that. You know, because if I start a series, most of my series, they go for months. So we're looking at getting into the fall season. That's another thing. I'm going to be watching football. You know, whenever there's another time sink. Ransom, prisoners, and trade equipment. And we need to find out which one of these troops of mine does not have a horse. A.G. Huscarl. Oh, he was going to be the replacement for A.G. Huscarl. That's exactly what it is. Sten Huscarl. He needs to go into A.G.'s group. Up, yeah. And the next one should be A.G. again. Yep, okay. So that's all it is I got to get him set up to be in A.G.'s group. Oh, Varcheg is under siege. Kuzites, we're having some internal political problems. You are going to get vigor, I think. Well, you have vigor. Can I get you something that gives you intelligence? Yeah, let's plus you up to a 4 on intelligence. And, Arts of Healing would be probably good. A marriage offer for Fridrun to Brunn. Yeah, they're age appropriate and they're both Nordic. I accept. There you go, tall lass. You know what I'm starting to think? This is unrelated. Oh, I think she's the one that just got married. Speaking of tall lasses, I'm looking at what's going on with the WNBA. And I don't know a whole lot about the WNBA, but the two things that stand out to me, the Botanians are sieging, are, their refusal, like they put together a committee to define what a woman is. They couldn't do it. This is the insanity of leftism, guys. Stay the hell away from this stuff. It's just ideologically so horrible. They have one selling point that seems to capture a lot of people. We're nice. You're not nice. You're not nice. You want to open the borders for everybody, despite the little kids that it affects. That's not nice. You're dumbass, evil people. But you're ignorant. You know, so you don't always know about that. But anyway, the WNBA is doubling down on the whole transgender thing. There we go, we caught him. We will help. And that, of course, whenever you're talking about a hot button issue like this, that I mean, you run the women's NBA. There are a lot of women that do not want men and women's sports, and they're trying to be nice about it. They're trying to say, hey, you know, you can be who you are. We're not trying to do anything. We just don't want you in our spaces. Because, frankly, it's unfair, and in some cases, it's even dangerous.
Soldiers, spread out. Close with them.
So I guess what I'm trying to point out with that is that from a business standpoint, you know, you're a fledgling sports franchise. You have some backing from a very successful NBA, but mostly you've had to be carried in order to establish a footprint. You're starting to maybe get a little bit of a footprint, and here's where the second part comes in. But number one, you are doubling down on issues that are very divisive for your own side. Okay? Especially in the women's area. That's just baffling. You're trying to become financially viable. And the very people that are most likely to be both your players and your coaches and your fans are split on this issue. Now, how much it's split, I don't know. It's hard. Girls they just operate differently than. I think women are much less likely to say publicly what they really think. They are a whole lot more likely to say what they think is kind and will make them look good. You know, I think that's part of being a woman. I'm not throwing shade. I just think everybody's got their things they got to deal with, and that's part of the things for a woman. Let's see if we can get this set up right. Then the second part is they just seem to absolutely refuse to protect their star players. Whether it's because they're the wrong color, and I'm saying like seemingly so, it kind of looks that way. Or they have the wrong ideology. So wrong color, Caitlin Clark. Wrong ideology, Sophie. For some reason, I just forgot her last name, but everybody knows who Sophie is. I want to say Cunningham for some reason, and I don't think that's right. Let me see. This bothers me now. Oh, I was right. It is Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, the hottie from the farm, right? Everybody likes this chick. She's gorgeous. She's got a whole boatload of personality. She's kind of zany, right? She grew up on a farm. She knows how to work, and she's good at what she does. And she don't take crap from nobody. She's loved by fans of basketball. Doesn't matter what color you are. From what I'm hearing, little girls who play basketball, regardless of what color they are, they like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Because they're learning the sport, they know the sport, and they can watch these girls and see they're good at what they do. For the same reason that whenever I was a kid, we liked Michael Jordan, we liked Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Shaq O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. We didn't like them because they were black. Who does that? That's dumb. we liked them because they transcended the sport, man. These are the kinds of names that lifted the bar for measuring what good was. It was awesome. You know? So, let's let these guys go at their normal speed. Oh, that's not very many people. I wonder why my Group 3 has so few people in it. Where are you gonna set up? Well, they are going to the hills. I need my archers to be like right here. Which means I'm gonna want you guys up here. And I'll keep my cav. Oh, well, we are helping the Battanians, aren't we? Okay.
Horsemen on my warrior! Stick to me! Yeah, yeah!
Let's go handle these guys here. So those two things, man, don't seem like they're very conducive to getting a successful sports franchise, or organization, I should say, up and running. It seems counterintuitive and counterproductive. Not protecting your star players. The NBA protected Michael Jordan. It was something called the Jordan Rules. They knew what they had. And the idea isn't to necessarily have Jordan get away with bloody murder, or for people to get called for phantom fouls. The idea was that if you even sniff doing something, fouling Michael Jordan, we're going to call it. Because, for those of you who don't know, the 90s basketball was a hell of a lot more physical than today's game. If you went into the paint against guys like Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, you were putting your life on the line. Charles Barkley also, same thing. You could just get absolutely massacred in the paint. And Jordan did. Go watch a documentary about the Bad Boy Pistons and what they did to that dude. That dude, over one summer, went from being a skinny young dude to being absolutely yoked up out of farting necessity. They were trying to kill him. So you should be doing that with Caitlin Clark. If you commit a penalty against Caitlin Clark, you're gonna get called for it. If you commit a hard foul against a flagrant against Caitlin Clark, you get removed from the game. That's how it should go. And not only are they not doing it, but they seem to be remaining silent. And they're letting Caitlin Clark get absolutely brutalized, which I think, I don't know this for sure, it just seems like this is the best explanation, was one of the reasons that Indiana went and got Sophie Cunningham, to kind of be a protector. Because Sophie Cunningham will fight back. And she will enforce. And now, because of Sophie's position on transgender, it appears that the league is A, letting her get brutalized, and B, where's everybody at, man? Oh, there we go. Okay. And B, threatening to ban her from the league for saying that the WNBA should be for women, not men. And my overall point that I've been trying to drive to is that these two elements are what make me very suspicious that this is not a serious sport. It's not actually a sporting organization. It's a front. Because none of these decisions make any sense when it comes to the idea of growing your business and growing your market. It doesn't adhere to the fundamental notions of meritocracy within sports. That's kind of what sports are all about. It makes the most sense to me if you start thinking of it as some sort of, you know, Neville Singham or George Soros or Chinese funded front to spread social contagion and socially engineer a culture into weakness. That's where the decisions start to make the most sense. And that's why I'm so excited to see guys like Enes Kanter and Royce White putting them into bad spots and forcing the WNBA to have to look like clowns for accepting the ridiculous, which the WNBA won't accept, but it puts them in a bad position. They have to defend themselves. That's why they started the whole commission to be able to define a woman, but the commission failed because of their woke ideology. They can't do it. Oh my gosh, it's absolute poison. You people are retards. You're really stupid people. You truly are. You're stupid people to have bought into such an ideology. Dumbest people in history. I can't wait till we get to heaven and some of you get laughed to scorn by people who lived in the past, right? Who are not going to be, they're going to be completely like, how did you believe any of this stuff? It's going to be fantastic. All right, Sten here goes right here. Truly the dumbest people on the planet. You guys are an embarrassment to humanity.
Riders, make a scheme. Hear me. Form a wedge. Soldier. Face out. Bowman. Spread those in.
All right, here we go. So that's kind of what I think is going on with that whole little slice of current events, is that the WNBA is not a real sports league. I think it makes far more sense. I think all of their decision making adds up much more. It's a more coherent explanation when you take the angle that they're not even a sports league. They are instead a front for social engineering. And they got to do what their puppet masters tell them to do. So I don't necessarily think that the players are in on this. I don't think the coaches are in on this. I think that the hiring process favors people who side with this. And these women, mark my words, man, unless we see a total reversal, I think these women are going to author the end of their own livelihood. An opportunity to not only make much better money than they would otherwise. I'm not saying that it would be near what they're doing with the NBA. Right? They're not going to make the money that the NBA is making, but they would make a lot more than, I don't know, being a waitress or whatever career that your college degree can get you into. I mean, what are you going to do? What did you get your degree in? If you did like a lot of athletes did and went into sports media, well, you don't have a league. What are you going to comment on? Because I think your league is going to die. Here we go. Let's go with that. And that. This. And this. Let everybody get lined up. And think about for women, so much for a woman's psychology revolves around being loved and adored and, adulation. These are all big, big, big dopamine hits for females, right? It's not that they're not dopamine hits for men, but they are like 2x for females. That's all I'm saying. It's how the psychology works. Again, I am not throwing shade or anything of that nature. I'm just simply talking about how men and women work. And so not only are you throwing away and self-undermining, self-destructing, self-sabotaging on a business that will very likely make you far more money than any of your other options. But at the same time, you're giving up all of the notoriety, the Hall of Fame, being a household name, and many houses, maybe not universally because the league's not that popular yet, but you're growing. You know, kind of the hero worship of these little girls that are growing up wanting to ball also. All of those things that would lead to tremendous happiness on your part because of how you function internally. And you're throwing all that in the garbage. See, the players, I think the players are just useful idiots. I don't think they know really what's up, what's going on here. Assuming that I'm right. Obviously, I think I'm right, or I wouldn't be talking about it. I am putting this forward not as a truth, but as a theory. That they are not a real sports organization. That at the administrative level, this is a front for the purposes of social engineering. And the thing is that if you could unify against that, you could take the league over and you could make it into something real where you did make some real money because your priorities would be on growing the business. But you won't do it. You won't do it. These women are going to dig themselves an early grave when it comes to their career. Because I don't think this is going to thrive. I was going to say I don't think it's going to last, but the Ukraine war has gone a lot longer than I thought it would. So something that has deep pockets and financial backing, even if it's for nefarious purposes or ulterior motives, it can live for an awful long time. But I don't think it can thrive and grow. And so you kind of, man, I just think it's insane, the positions that they've taken. I saw one female basketball player, man, she thought she was big brain for this. I don't know her name. I don't remember. She said that nobody was talking about why Enes Kanter got kicked out of that game. She said everybody was all full-throated about supporting him and stuff like that, and without looking at why he got kicked out. And she said for walking on the court. Well, I mean, we've all seen the video. Sweetheart, have you seen the video? How did that get into your head? Why do you think that? What evidence do you have? I really truly want to know how your brain works. How have you reached the conclusion that he walked onto the court? Am I the one who's wrong here? I haven't scrutinized this tremendously, but I've seen an awful lot of video just by nature of it being in my feed. And it looks like he just simply approached the court. In fact, the only one who looks like she's in the wrong is Cloud, who I'm starting to think is a dude. Right? Secretly. If I had to bet on it, I would not bet yes. Isn't Cloud the daughter of an NFL athlete or something? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I think it's a possibility. I look at that chick and I'm like, this could be. I mean, I've seen some like Pharrell. She looks a little bit like Pharrell. You know, like, you know, that sort of pretty boy, soft-featured kind of masculinity. I mean, Pharrell's obviously a guy. You don't look at Pharrell and think, man, you look like a girl. But you might look at Pharrell and say, you're a pretty boy. You might, right? He kind of fits that category, in my opinion. He's a good-looking guy that fits into the more of the pretty boy category than the rock hard, rock solid jaw and the big chin. You know, the square chin, sort of uber masculine look. And that's kind of how Cloud looks to me. She doesn't look like a soft-featured female. She looks like a soft-featured dude. Yeah, so I just kind of wonder. I don't dismiss it fully. We are going to go here, and it's my own. I want to manage it. I want to plus up on my cohesion. There we go. And then, yeah, I do want to go to Revel. So I think these players are being played, ironically. The players are getting played. Cloud was the only one in the wrong on that, in my opinion, storming up towards him like she was going to fight. I loved the fact that he got up and just stretched his arms out like, what are you going to do? And it just put on display how much bigger, longer, taller he is. If that dude was playing the center on a women's team, he could be like air defense, man. He's just on a turret, reaching his arms out like a condor, swatting balls away from any player that's in the paint. He could reach all of them. They could be doing the most magical thing whenever it comes to fundamentals as far as moving the ball and passing it around, and he could just turret around and swat all of them down. It's hilarious. The optics were funny. People are pointing it out. So these people are self-destructing. They're blowing up their own livelihood. I don't think it's going to work out well for them. I don't know that it's going to submarine the league, because my thought is that this is extremely well financed by dark money for ulterior motives. But the league's not gonna get as popular as it could. We have a society and enough surplus and money in this country for it to become a real thing. The potential is there. And I'm telling you, they're not going to meet the potential. This thing's going to fail. So that's my take on that particular current event. The WNBA, officially I'm saying, my opinion, is that the WNBA is not a serious sports league, and it's not even a sports league at all. It's a social engineering front, backed by dark money, and I think the proof is in the nonsensical choices they have made regarding their own star power, how they enforce rules, and then they're doubling down on inclusion as being their primary. That seems to be like their core value, rather than growing their business and taking a look at the market and seeing, well, what plays well, what's going to attract the most customers, what's going to grow our brand. They are far more concerned with I guess I would phrase it as, what's the morally right thing to do here? How am I trying to put I think there are two elements at play. There are the useful idiots. The useful idiots don't know what this thing is really being used for. They're just willing to play the part. And because they're females, and females do tend to prioritize caretaking, nurturing, and the welfare of others, they are sacrificing the business end in pursuit of what they feel like is a higher goal. Admirable? It would be if it wasn't retarded, and that the premise of what you're supporting wasn't batshit crazy. But because you've bought into woke and its insane positions, it's just simply tragic, and you are stupid. That's what's happening. And then there's the other side up at the top of the league, the administration of the league, where these people, I think, are shills, and they're being paid by China or somebody else. And they are taking their marching orders and doing what the purpose of the League really is. And that's for the sake of social engineering and causing disruption and argument and maybe even demoralization tactics, but to weaken our society. This falls, if it's from China, this falls under China's unrestricted warfare policy. So I think that's how you can chalk it up. Why do I keep having to do this? This is getting pretty boring. I put this dude in Group 3 for a fucking reason. So that I would never have to mess with it again. I had him in Group 4. At least it's kind of easy to get going.
Warriors, onward!
Alright, I just basically told everybody to go get him.
Riders, keep warriors, stay close!
And I blindly clicked on this group too, by the way, as I was talking. Man, have you guys seen what Trump is doing to secure these elections? I mean, jeez, the political intrigue we have happening in the United States is literally entertaining. This is like reading a novel, Game of Thrones or Tom Clancy. There's a lot of intrigue going on in cat and mouse, and I guess it's fun for me because my ultimate end is in heaven. That affords me the ability for things to not be as existential as they are for others. I just simply don't freak out or I don't get my cage shook as much as people that for them this is, you know, the end game, so to speak.
Infantry!
Why on earth is that dude all the way up there? Who even are you, bro?
Get moving!
Run! Alright, bows. Go right there, and let's see if we can protect this dude by charging in with our cav. Okay, now you can attack. Okay. Jimmy Cricket. And then B, the other reason why I'm able to look at this as entertaining is because Trump and MAGA are just beating the shit out of people. I've been cursing a lot on my channel lately. That's a lack of discipline on my part. I apologize. I don't have it in me to like hold that back right now. I'm admitting that. I probably need to get in my Bible some more. But I mean, this is why I'm a Christian. You know, there are always people out there like, you're a hypocrite. No, brother, there's a reason I'm a Christian. I know I need salvation. At least I have the temerity to admit it. I'm not one of these idiot wokesters who are out there being like, I'm a good person. Ain't no good people out there, man. If you think you're a good person, you're probably one of the worst people out there. That's honest to God truth right there. If you think you're a good person, you are probably one of the worst people. Because you don't have any self-awareness. That's the truth. We're all monsters in our own ways. You know, we try. Doesn't mean that we don't try. I don't give credit where credit's due. But we mess up constantly. So, anywho, Trump and MAGA are just... I love so much at how much this dude is just the fly in the ointment for these people that have been running DC for forever and a day. We're gonna wrap this up now. Let's go back here. And he does oftentimes seem to be several moves ahead. Well, I mean, he's not several moves ahead for me. I hear about what he's doing, but for the left, they don't. Or they don't believe it. Sometimes I get I have a hard time telling, when it comes to leftist media, which ones of them are actually shilling and lying on purpose, and which ones of them are just so saturated in BS propaganda that they really truly believe, oh, we got Trump now, the walls are closing in. Sometimes I think these people, like the same person, they'll be back and forth on this issue. And this is a result of the education system having brought up whole generations of people that are saturated in propaganda, that they actually really believe this stuff. I remember when AOC first got into office, and Pelosi was stunned that AOC didn't consider Pelosi a progressive. Pelosi had to fight for her life because AOC was doing things that were optically bad for Pelosi. So Pelosi had to actually go to war against AOC politically and start applying her brain and making some chess maneuvers. And she won because she's a whole hell of a lot better at it than AOC is. AOC was brand new. But just the fact that AOC had popular momentum behind her, and how shocking that was to Pelosi. Well, it wasn't shocking to people like me, because I understand that Pelosi, I understand how the Overton window works. And Pelosi grew up in a system where she understood and knew what we're telling the public is a bunch of BS. We're just doing that to get their votes and we can move our ball forward. But our real objective is over here, hidden behind this facade. She knew that. She knew that. The funny thing is that as she was doing that, all of the propaganda that she was pushing onto the American public landed in schools and brought little girls up like AOC who, because they were being propagandized, they now really truly believe it. Pelosi knows that shiznit don't work. That's a fool's errand. And so then AOC gets into office and she holds she's a true believer. And Pelosi's like, holy smokes, that's not going to work. This is a magic act. And you're going to mess us up if you actually think this is real. You better get in line. And she had to go to war to get this fixed because AOC really did believe what she was brought up to believe, which is the stuff that Pelosi was pushing for decades. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You know, the left eats the left. The new revolutionaries eat the old revolutionaries. And you constantly see these boomers out there, these ex-hippies that are just stunned and surprised that they're not wanted, that they're hated by the younger millennial and especially Gen Z leftists. And the boomers are always, it never fails, they're always surprised. They're like, we're one of you. You have no idea what I've put into this. Yeah, they have no idea, and they don't care either. You're a problem. Because that's how revolutionary systems, the one that you embraced, works. That's how it always works. You are a useful idiot. And when you're no longer useful, you're just an idiot. That's how it works. Right? So, it is, I think, a mix of the left trying to peddle propaganda that Trump's on the ropes, and the left actually genuinely believing that, we've got him and our candidate's going to win. Well, you know, as we get closer and closer to, current event X, whether it's the Iran war or it's the midterms or whatever you want to pick, the economy, as things progress forward, reality begins to show you more and more clearly, no, it's this. And that's when they start to panic. They're like, I thought it was that. No, it was not that. You thought it was that, but that's why you're stupid. That's why we think you're dumb. So, I don't know, man. It's been something else. But let's go ahead We're right up at an hour. We're like 20 seconds from it. Right. Again, I'm Aesop Grimm. Thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. More importantly, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods, and I'll see you in the next episode, where this story continues.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized.